I have just realized we're gonna have to play this team 7 more times. Before we get on to the game, on Twitter, the Kings Dorian tweeted out, on January 18th, 2020, Drew Doughty set an LA Kings record for most consecutive games when he appeared in 460 straight games, which started on that October 8th, 2014 versus San Jose and ended against the Flyers. During the streak, Doughty led the NHL in ice time with 12,585 minutes. Going into this game, we knew that Matloff got injured on Saturday's game against Minnesota, and then we're also going to have 2 new players in Carl Grundstrom and newly acquired Elias Anderson, who are going to be on the 4th line today, and Kyle Peterson is making his season debut in goal. Bit of a risky decision by Todd McLennan by starting Kyle Peterson against probably the hottest team in the NHL, the hottest offense, the hottest power play in the NHL. Kyle looked pretty okay. Like, he did let in 3 goals. 2 of those goals, we'll get to them. The first goal, which was probably like one of the first couple shots he faced, he just couldn't collect the puck. Came out of his pads, and Brendan Saw was right there to put in the empty net. And that was the first goal of the game. Brendan Saw having his first goal as an Avalanche. In the first 5 minutes of the first period, the Avalanche were a very dominant team. You can tell the difference between Colorado and LA. Colorado was very fast, and they were basically running circles around LA. LA is not usually a fast team. They're a more defensive team. They like to hit. However, for the last 10 minutes of the first period, the Kings were actually matching with Colorado, and it was looking like an equal game. Even the commentators were commenting that Colorado are looking like the Stanley Cup favorites. They do have the odds, and the Kings are playing with them, and they're actually playing good, even though they are down 1-0. Andres Nafsiu, he scored for the 3rd straight game in a row. I love him. Rob Blake, thank you for signing him. That was probably the best acquisition this summer. I'm not really going to get into detail with the goals today, because 2 goals from Colorado, I don't really blame the Kings. I say this because both those goals were on the power play in the second period, where the refs gave the momentum to Colorado. And you might be saying, why is it the refs? Is it because they were the ones who called the penalty? Isn't the Kings who gave the momentum to Colorado because they were the ones who actually caused the penalty? But no, the refs were calling penalties when it wasn't penalties. It started off when they called Carter for interference, what was blatantly not an interference call, because I think it was Nazem Kadri. He had stick on puck, and it was a clear hit to his shoulder. No contact with the head at all. That was the worst call of the night for sure. Colorado didn't score on that power play, but that just gave the momentum to Colorado, and it kept increasing. Then Brown takes a penalty for cross-checking, which I don't really feel like it was a cross-checking penalty at all, because Cale Makar was already on his knees, and I feel like the ref just thought, oh, Brown cross-checked him and Cale Makar went on his knees, so therefore penalty. But Cale Makar was already on his knees, and Brownie just gave him a tiny bit of push. It didn't really cause anything and didn't deserve a penalty. And on that power play, Colorado, Devon Toews scores. 2-0, Colorado is up. And then, like a minute or 2 later, Kempe takes a holding penalty. It was the correct call by the refs. But in the first 10 seconds of that power play, granted, Colorado made an amazing tic-tac-toe play to whoever scored the goal. I don't even remember who scored the goal because I was so mad the refs at that time because of the call they made after they scored the goal. On the same play, the Avalanche scored the 3rd goal. Matt Roy took a tripping penalty. But this was probably one of the worst tripping penalties I've ever seen in my life. Matt Roy just basically tapped Nazem Kadri's shin, and Kadri did a Neymar. He just did a Neymar and basically dived. And I really feel like he deserves a penalty for embellishment, because he just got tapped on the shin on the stick, and he went flying. And because of this, Matt Roy was like, "Why is he diving?" He was out of position and let in the third goal. And right after that third goal was scored, Matt Roy was in the box. And this just gives all the momentum to Colorado, because they just scored and they're on the power play again. And this is just the fault of the refs. They made 3 horrible calls in the second period, 3 penalties against the Kings. I know the Kings need to do better in avoiding taking penalties. This was the same problem against Minnesota, and I feel like today's game was stolen by the refs. Because before the refs basically gave all the momentum to Colorado, the Kings were actually playing very well and competing hard against, I feel like, Stanley Cup favorites. And this shows the character of the Kings. Going to the third period, even though they're down by 3-0, even though the refs have just blown this game for them, they're still fighting hard in the third period. They look like the better team in the third period. Cal Peterson played great, scored 2 goals, Andres Anafasiu and Adrian Kempe. It just wasn't enough for the Kings by the end of the third period, and Colorado wins by a score of 3-2. As I said at the beginning of this video, I am scared that the Kings are playing Colorado 7 more times this year. But after this review, I shouldn't be scared, because this is a fairly new team for the Kings. Very young players. Everyone is getting used to playing together. And I feel like this is just going to improve as the season goes on. That's my review for today's game. I am Seb, LA Kings fan. I will see you on Thursday once the Kings play Colorado once again. Bye.